Hello, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, 3D Printing, Multi-Materials, and Vibrant Color. My name is Kim Kaloran, and I'll be your host for today's event. Before we really get started into today's topic, I wanted to give you a brief overview of who Stratasys is. For those of you who aren't familiar with our company, Stratasys manufactures 3D printing equipment and materials that create physical objects directly from digital data. Its systems range from affordable desktop 3D printers to large, advanced 3D production systems, and we are passionate believers in the value and power of 3D printing and in the change it can bring to the world. All Stratasys 3D printers build parts layer by layer. PolyJet technology is known for its smooth and detailed surfaces and ability to combine multiple materials in one part. It employs an inkjet-style method to build parts from liquid photopolymers in fine droplets, immediately cured then by a UV light. On the other hand, Stratasys also sells FDM. FDM technology is fused deposition modeling. It's known for its reliability and durable parts, and extrudes fine layers of molten thermoplastics, which solidify as they are deposited. The Stratasys portfolio of specially engineered 3D printing materials is the most comprehensive in the industry. It now includes over 500 PolyJet photopolymers and FDM thermoplastics. So 3D printing, also known as additive manufacturing, has many applications. So we're going to take a quick look at the primary applications that additive manufacturing serves. So under the additive manufacturing umbrella, there are a couple of established and more traditional applications, which include concept models and functional prototypes. Most uses, or most people use additive manufacturing for these already, kind of rapid prototyping, for initial models and prototypes used when a product is being conceptualized. Also, in the concept model bucket, it's where there's a lot of product visualization and design communication. And then as we move on to functional prototyping, this is where prototypes are used to really evaluate the form, fit, and function and prove out all aspects of the product before you get to manufacturing and performance. And as we move along in the applications here, there's some manufacturing applications. Specifically manufacturing tools, and this is basically a collection of all items used to produce, inspect, or manage, or handle manufacturing items. So this includes things like jigs and fixtures, work holding tools, patterns, inspection tools, that kind of thing. And then also, additive manufacturing can be used for low volume end use production. So parts or sub-assemblies of products that are sold to a customer or put into service can be finished goods. Collectively, we call these last two direct digital manufacturing. But I'd really like to welcome our main presenter today, John Cobb, who is Executive Vice President of Marketing for Stratasys. And then also, we have a special guest speaker, Guadalupe Alcerbal, who's an engineer technician with Trek Bicycle. So, John, I'll let you take it away from here. Let me give you the controls.
Okay, thanks a lot, Kim. Welcome, everybody. I'm very excited to introduce you to the newest member of the Connex family. This really is the next revolution in 3D printing. I'm also very pleased that Lupe from Trek is joining us to talk about the experience that Trek has had utilizing PolyJet and utilizing this brand new technology. In 1998, the Object Connex was introduced to the world. This revolutionary product provided the market with the first multi-material 3D printing technology. Connex provided over 120 unique digital material blends ranging from soft rubber-like materials to durable digital ABS plastics. These materials could print in translucent all the way through opaque. So Connex really provided prototypes with the look and feel of real parts, complex parts that really made prototyping from the early stage of prototyping concepts all the way to the pre-production very, very simple. What I'd like to do is show you a quick video that really gives you a look into the next generation of 3D printing. This video will introduce the Connex 3 from Stratasys to all of you.
We're always striving to enhance the design process. We're always asking ourselves, how can we help designers convey their ideas, their creativity? It's our passion to empower designers with true design freedom, to help the most astounding ideas move forward. Connex multi-material 3D printing technology from Stratasys is our expression of this passion. Now, we've created a new 3D printer, the Object500 Connex 3, and we've radically enhanced the foundational elements of Connex technology to give designers more choice, more expression than ever before.
The Connex is expanding. The Connex 3, the first printer to print in multicolor and multiple materials. And this is done all at the same time. So really, you have your choice of a wide range of colors. We'll get into those in a minute. And then, of course, the same material choices that you've had in the past. And again, those material choices are running from a very rubber-like material, very flexible material, all the way to a durable ABS. As a matter of fact, with the introduction of Connex 3, there's a brand new ABS material, digital ABS material, that is even more durable than what we've had in the past. Let's just take a little bit of look at the Connex technology. If you look at the technology, it's utilizing a print head that's very common to something you'd find on a two-dimensional printer. Because of this, you're able to use those three base materials, which simultaneously will provide different color materials and then also different blends of material types. In all, with the new Connex 3, we're moving the capability of digital materials from the 120 that I mentioned a little bit earlier to over 500 materials. And again, these material blends are types of materials, and also you're looking at different colors. So you're really taking that capability from a two-dimensional printer, giving you the capability of printing, blending cyan, magenta, and yellow, and then combining that with the capability of Connex, which will give you that rubber-like material and all the way through the durable ABS. And it really allows you to meet so many different types of design applications. I've got a couple of them here that I can share with you. If you look at these, you see again digital printing, but take a look at the glasses that you see on the upper right-hand side. What you look at with that glass is, again, it's all printed in one piece. And the amazing piece of this is that the lenses themselves are clear or can be slightly tinted like you'd have with sunglasses. If you look at the size of the glasses and the frames, that's really printed out of a wide variety of color to really give you that reality that you're looking for when you're making customized glasses. And of course, at the end of the frames, you see that black piece. That's produced in rubber, just like it would be on a glasses today, allowing it to stay tight to your head. Again, all in one piece. The colorful helmets, you can see that all different types of blends, and I know Lupe will be talking a little bit about this when he presents. And of course, then the final piece you see there is a razor. And as you know, with a razor, you really have that durable ABS material that you want to have for the handle. And then, of course, to make the razor functional, there's a soft overmold that's going to be placed on there. Obviously, in a manufacturing process, that overmold would be a two-step process. But today, utilizing the Connex 3, you're able to get that wide range of colors that you see there, going from the gray all the way to the orange, and of course then an overmold as well. The one thing about Connex, it really gives you very, very fine precision. Maybe a little bit difficult to see in this slide, but the surfaces are extremely smooth. The colors are very, very crisp, as you can see there. Really unique in the 3D printing industry. One thing I haven't shown you, and it's something that's going to be introduced in the spring of this year, is the colors that you're looking at here will also be able to be printed in a flexible material. So today you move from that durable ABS all the way to the flexible rubber. Soon, we'll be able to present all the rubber materials in color as well, so really giving the ultimate flexibility. Let's just take a look then at the color application here. So what you see is you actually have 6 color-based resins that you use, and those color-based resins allow you to look at the different colors. There's 46 tints on a specific palette, and if you look at that triangular piece, that defines a palette. And then we have 10 different palette combinations. So with that wide variety, as you can see she's holding in her hand, you have the capability of producing over 460 different digital colors. And because we have this really expanded color base, I'll look again along with the materials, if you look at the photo down there, you'll see that we've really added a huge amount of color capability. So each one of the colors or each one of the materials has dual capacity, as you can see there. And today, you can actually do what we call a hot changeover. So while the actual printer is moving, you can actually change over or add one of the additional materials. So that's a brand new capability for the Connex capability, something that really allows you to print over and over again, job after job, no delays. One of the things we talked about was overmolding, and something that's quite common in products today. You can see a number here in the front of you. Let me just talk a little bit about the screwdriver that you see there specifically. And obviously, in the prototyping area, there's often many times where you're really trying to get that true look type of device. And here's where the Connex 3 really shines. So you have the multiple color material. You have the multiple materials, which give you a shore value of A27 to 95. And of course, as I mentioned before, you have the clear and opaque parts. So let's just take a look at that screwdriver. It has a plastic handle, as you can see there. That's one color. Then in the center, that center dark dot that you see there is an overmold. It's obviously done in a different color. Then you actually have a label. You can see the Stratasys label that's on this particular screwdriver. That's another color. Then you have the highlighted ring that's right before the shaft of the screwdriver, obviously another color there. And then you actually have the blade or the shaft, which is another color. And looking at true realism as a designer or an engineer is trying to really convey what that particular product is going to be, and that maybe conveying that to an engineer, a designer, maybe somebody from marketing, maybe from sales, you can actually see that you have that capability of building that all in one part. So the customer you're showing it to gets the particular product, and they really see it in its real light. Which really then shows how the Connex 3 fits into the design cycle. And whether your process looks exactly like the one that I've replicated here, or it may have some more steps or some less steps, you're really always talking about the idea of moving from ideation or concepts all the way to short production runs. And when you're starting with the concept today, with the Connex 3, you can start printing that initial concept right in color, right in the multiple materials, to really convey, really sell the idea to those customers, internal or external, that may be interested in the design. And then as you move through the different design process, the use of the color, the use of the multiple material is going to give you that realism, again, to totally communicate the design. And then all the way through that short production type of area. Not only are you really getting the quick concepts that you need early on, but then once you start to move to that production run, that's where the real idea of having all the attributes of a product really comes into play. Again, in that particular case, maybe you're not only talking to the engineers, the designers, you may actually then be moving to the marketing people, maybe even sales. And finally, you may be sending this part even to the tool maker itself to really give them an idea of what that final part's going to look like. So it does, in fact, span that entire design process. And this slide then really sums it up, where you get that product realism, the look, feel, and functionality. Then you really move into true concept that you see in the middle as you start to really validate that design. And then finally, as you move to the end portion of the process in that short production run, you really see a product that's colored to give you the look and feel of that final product. So really, one thing that the Connex 3, again, with the color materials and the capability of the multi-materials, you're really giving a 3D printer that's going to carry you all through that marketing phase and into the pre-production phase. We call it end-to-end versatility, and that's what you get with this kind of product realism. When you look at the Connex, taking it really to that next level, this slide really talks about the attributes that Connex delivers. You get that fine feature detail, tremendous surface quality. It's very difficult sometimes to show that when we're looking at pictures, but very, very smooth finishes, very clear definition where one color starts and the other one begins. You get that fine feature detail as well that you can see in that heart example. You're going to get that from the multiple material printing. You can do color appliques. We talked about the sunglasses. We talked about the screwdriver. At the end of the day, you're really getting that fine product realism. And what's beneficial about that in this Connex is that we're focusing on so many different industries. I talked a little bit about the consumer products or sporting goods with the glasses, a little bit about the education. It's a big piece of our business today is in the education, and this color really takes it to a next level, not only educating maybe in the CAD area, but also education into the medical type of applications, maybe into the art, into the entertainment type of area, where color absolutely is so critical, one, in entertainment, just because color is crucial to any kind of figurine, but also in education. You take a look at this example we have here. It's a clear coating that we have over this particular heart example, and then, of course, all the colors that would show the various veins and arteries of this particular muscle. And, of course, then something that makes total sense, and it's something that's been a strength of Stratasys for years, is in the consumer products area, whether it's consumer electronics or the wide range of packaging options. If you look at the capability now of the Connex 3, not only do you get to study the various shapes and sizes that you're going to use for packaging, but you're also able to add the different materials and colors. Really starting to look at the surfaces that are so important for packaging applications. You've heard a lot from me at this point, and now what I'd like to do is introduce you to Lupe from Trek Bicycles. Trek is located in Waterloo, Wisconsin. They employ about 800 people in Wisconsin, about 1,800 worldwide. They utilize a wide variety of dealers across North America, and they distribute their products in over 90 countries. Trek was really one of the first companies to take the Object machine and then also now the Connex 3. So, Lupe, I'd like to thank you for joining us today, and the whole point of having you on the call here is really for me to ask you some questions and give the audience here a little bit understanding about the experience that you have had at Trek. So let me ask the first question, which is why did you pick the PolyJet material from Stratasys in the first place? What caused you to pick PolyJet at the beginning?
This is Lupe Alarzabal from Trek Bicycle. A little introduction about myself. Been here at Trek for a little over 19 years now, and worked my way from out in manufacturing over to the proto shop. And when I first got here 6 years ago in the proto shop, my first job was to be a weld fabricator. And at that time, we were looking at other technologies for printing bicycle parts, just to take some of the load off of our CNC shop. And the reason why we picked the Connex was the dual material, was where you can print soft and hard digital material. That's the main reason why we picked the Connex.
Well, for your introduction, Lupe, it sounds like you've had a lot of experience in prototyping. What has been your experience with PolyJet technology? How have you and the engineers at Trek utilized that multi-material capability?
Been working with Stratasys for quite a few years now, and having this technology in house has just been great. I mean, our turnaround for prototypes has just been from a couple of weeks to months to just a few days. I mean, I get a request in, say, this morning, and by this afternoon I can have most of my customers fulfilled with their requests. So I mean, it's been great. It's been a great thing. Great sort of.
Well, if you kind of are able to satisfy your customers' needs, and somebody was waiting months to get a prototype, and now you're able to do that in days, you must be one of the most popular guys at Trek at this point in time.
Oh, yeah, I am.
That's nice. It sounds like you're probably the go-to guy.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And it sounds like maybe the whole introduction of the PolyJet kind of allows you to be that go-to guy, and that's fantastic. I know you and Trek were an early proponent of utilizing the Connex technology, but over the last several months, of course, you've been utilizing color, the Connex 3. You were one of the first customers, and we very much appreciate that. But tell me, what's the advantage that you see today utilizing color?
So one of the advantages is, if you can see on one of the slides, we had one of the engineers work his magic, and he drew this saddle up and wanted to show product managers as well, and just to show our customers as far as how people sit on the saddle and where the hot spots are. And his color printer has been really helpful as far as showing, visually where all the hot spots are with different colors.
Huh.
So that's been
probably something when you first purchased the Connex 3. It's probably something you really hadn't thought about. I would think it seems like a really unique way to utilize color for your specific industry.
Yeah, that's correct. We started seeing the benefits of when we have different iterations, have small little changes on parts that you can't see to the naked eye, but changing them in color, having different, we have 2 or 3 parts that are the same, but minute changes, and having them in color actually helps out a ton.
Huh. So how is color changing the way Trek designs products today?
We're just starting to scratch the surface. I mean, with this pressure mapping, I mean, that's just the start of some cool stuff to come. But I mean, there's I'm sure there's gonna be other stuff in the works as far as printing out, a scale bicycle with some pressure points on how a frame would react under certain conditions, and just to have that visual for meetings, it's just great to have.
Huh. It's really interesting. I'm love to road cycle myself, so hopefully I'll see some of the benefits in my next purchase of a cycle or a saddle from Trek. It sounds really interesting. Now, are you using it for any type of study models? As you look at the different, I guess, so we saw the helmet design, for example. Is color a big deal for having people get interested in different types of helmets for like kids or something like that?
So yeah, we have this group of engineers that are just dedicated for kids bikes, and they're really using the colors just to kind of get a visual of how a let's say a pad is gonna look on a front of a handlebar, with the construct of a colored seat, and I mean, we're just, like I said, we're just scratching the surface with this. I mean, we've had almost a year to play with it, and I mean, we have some cool stuff coming out, and unfortunately, some of it we can't talk about. But trust me, it's some cool stuff's coming.
Good. Well, it sounds like some of the cool stuff then that you're coming out with, which you can't talk about now, really sounds like maybe the Connex 3 then, since you've had it for that year, was really one of the enablers that allowed you to get something that it sounds like you're really excited about, and hopefully the market will be excited about as well.
Oh yeah, same here. I definitely agree with that.
All right. Well, we're real pleased that Trek chose Stratasys, and pleased that you've been a customer for a number of years. And what I'm really excited to hear in this discussion is, how color, you've used it in kind of conventional ways. We talked about utilizing it for the kids cycling, helmets, that type of thing. But then I think you really, at least opened my eyes anyway, looking at the analysis that you're doing as far as, I guess, frame stress, and also then the stress of a body as it sits on a saddle, and you're able to do that kind of in real life. I hadn't really thought about that in the past, but it sounds like a fantastic an application for color. I really appreciate you joining us today, and I really appreciate all of you at Trek being a customer of Stratasys for a number of years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Okay. But let me quickly summarize the Connex 3. So as I mentioned before, the Connex 3 really gives you that look and feel of the functionality. What you get with the Connex 3, again, is you get the color. And remember, you're getting opaque color, and you're actually moving to translucent color. This spring will also be providing color in the rubberized material itself. And of course, you are getting materials all the way from a very soft rubber-like material to a very, very durable ABS material. And we are introducing a new, more durable ABS material with the introduction of the Connex 3. So to summarize, you look at Connex 3, it has a wide, very, very vibrant group of colors, and that wide group of colors, along with the wide group of materials, really gives you that product real look and feel, and it's something that, as a designer and engineer, you're going to be able to use all the way through that concept model. I call it the ultimate communication tool, and as you heard from Lupe at Trek, there's so many different things once you end up with a color printer that maybe you hadn't thought about in the past, that really color starts to open your eyes to different ways of doing things. With that, I'll turn it back over to Kim.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, John. So in a minute, we'll do a Q&A, and we'll take any questions that have come in on the chat panel or the Q&A panel here from attendees. If anyone has a question, please make sure to submit it to us. So I also wanted to let you know, after the event, you can go to this URL that's on the screen, www.stratasys.com/webinar-Connex3, and that's where you can download a copy of the webinar slides from today's event and also view the webinar video. You can also access the white paper on the Connex 3 technology, as well as the customer story on Trek. So now on to the Q&A portion here. Looks like a couple of questions have come in, and I'll try and do a little traffic coordinating here. So this one looks like it's for John. Peter is asking if the product is available right now.
Yeah, as you know, we announced the product a couple of weeks ago, and we are obviously taking orders, and we've received a number of orders at this point in time. But we're still able to offer the product within a window of around 6 to 8 weeks. So anybody ordering at this point in time should be able to get a product in 6 to 8 weeks. But the good news is that we've received quite a few orders with the initial introduction of the printer.
Great, thank you. And then another one for John. Sandy is asking if she can choose any Pantone color in particular to print and how that works.
No, you can't. You can't choose any Pantones. As we talked about before, you actually have color palettes that you choose from, and each one of those palettes has a little over 40 different materials. The nice thing about it, though, since Andy was asking, is that there's a great deal of repeatability. So as you pick your palette that's going to match your specific need, what you're able to do then is once you specify that particular color, and you do that more or less by painting, if you will, your STL file with an overlay. Once you make that selection is valid then going forward. So there's a huge amount of consistency in the color printing itself.
Okay, kind of a similar question here. Amir is asking, how do you place the color on your part? And I think you answered part of it, but do you have anything additional to add?
No, it's a fairly simple process. Obviously, if you're looking at STLs today, they're not able to produce color, but utilizing the software that we provide, what you're able to do then is basically specify that specific area of the STL file that you wanted painted a specific color, and then assign one of those colors from that palette to that specific area, and then the file, if you will, paints over that STL piece.
Okay. Great, thank you. And then here is one for Trek. So Lupe, for you, Nate is asking, how many engineers do you service with your 3D printers?
Yeah, so we have 25 in-house, and I also have 5 overseas. 2 there in Asia, and 3 there in Emmitsford. We have offshore offices as well.
Great. So kind of a follow-up question just from me. How many 3D printers does Trek have?
So we have 2. We have the Connex 500 and the Connex 3.
Okay.
Both printers, I mean, they're running 60-plus hours a week here, so
nice.
We're pretty busy.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So since Lupe, we're with you here, there's another question for Trek specifically. So what did you do, or how did you prototype before you got the Connex 3 printer?
So before we would send stuff out, and of course, you know, we have budget, so we couldn't prototype as much, just due to the fact that our shop in-house, our CNC shop, was we had a backlog of a month. Sometimes a month is just way too long, so we would prioritize and send out, you know, top 5, top 3 prototypes out, and you know, just spending a lot of money. So everything was done off with different vendors around. So in order to make the best bikes here at Trek, we need the best tools, and the Connex 3 is the best tool for the job. And you know, it's just our product shows it, and you know, I mean, have a great relationship with Stratasys, so I think both Stratasys and Trek are good at, or the best at what we do. So.
Okay. Good deal. One last question it looks like we have time for today. John, this one's for you, and Jesse is asking, how much does it cost?
Okay, yeah, the Connex 3 is priced right around the $300,000 range, and again, available within a very short period of time. But we're ready to ship it at this point, and looking forward to a lot of stories, I hope, like the one you heard today from Lupe, where it's really changing the way companies are designing and prototyping and really improving, speeding up their getting their products to market.
Great. Well, thank you both, John and Lupe, for your time today, and thank you all for your questions as well. If we didn't get to your specific question on the call, we'll be sure to follow up with you via email afterwards. Again, thanks for all of your attention during the presentation, and now I'll turn it over to our operator who will close out the event. Bye-bye.